Welcome to this bite-sized video on self-evaluation. This is the third of 4 bite-sized videos that looks at the self-evaluation process. This video follows on from the second bite-sized session on looking at question 1, how are you doing? The purpose of the video is to support services with the implementation of self-evaluation. We acknowledge that services are at different stages in the self-evaluation journey, and we hope this video will help you make a start to make improvements and make a difference. Just to recap, self-evaluation is a continuous process that asks 3 questions. How are we doing? How do we know? And what are we going to do now? This video will focus on the second question, how do we know? Getting feedback about your service is crucial to knowing where you are at and gives you a baseline to work from. Feedback can be from everyone who has connection with your service. It's important to gather evidence and not just make assumptions that you're doing well. Evaluating your findings will then help you prioritise what action you need to take next to make improvement happen. This video looks at collecting your evidence to establish where you are at and what to do next. As discussed in the previous video, getting feedback from people experiencing care, their relatives, friends, your staff, stakeholders, and visiting professionals can all play a key role in giving you evidence about your service. You will have established from asking for feedback from various people the best way to obtain information that is meaningful and useful, whether that be questionnaires, surveys, focus group, or just speaking to people individually, face to face, or on the phone, or email, or text. It's good to get feedback, as this lets you know how well you are doing and also gives you the opportunity to work on the priorities to improve. Evidence that we have discussed in the previous video can also come from benchmarking by using the quality framework, such as quality illustrations and the scrutiny and improvement toolbox and the health and social care standards, observing practice and your own quality assurance systems and audits. All this gives you rich feedback about your service. All this information feeds very well into the self-evaluation process. This slide is a work example from the toolkit and gives an example of how to record your finding from focusing on quality indicator 1.1 and one of the key areas. This highlights clearly how the evidence has supported evaluating the service as good. Using the headings, how do we know and what did we do, clearly demonstrate what action has been taken to gather the evidence. The worked examples in the toolkit give more information. There is a link to the worked example at the end of the video. By using questionnaires, surveys, and asking people to grade your service are all good ways to measure how good your service is. You can later repeat the same questions using the same format, and the evidence will give you a measure of how successful your changes to make improvements have been. Again, in this slide, we have used a worked example from the toolkit. The evidence is well laid out and highlights clearly what was found and what was observed. Your evaluation of the findings might also indicate that you need to adapt your questions so you get the answers you need to make an improvement. That is why we recommend you start small. Once you have your evidence, you can evaluate your findings. It's useful to evaluate your findings using evaluative language. Record your findings in this way will let people know what the findings say and what you're going to do about it. When writing in an evaluative style, ask yourself the so what question. So what difference does this mean? It's also important to communicate your findings with people and staff to inform them of how good your service is and what action you're taking to make improvements identified. Good communication is key. Once you've gathered your evidence and findings, you will be able to decide what your improvement priorities are and add these to your improvement plan. This will be discussed in more detail in our next video, looking at the next stage of the self-evaluation process. What are we going to do now? For further information, use the links below. This will guide you to the self-evaluation guidance and the toolkit, which are on our website. If you have any queries from the video recording, please contact us on the email below. Good luck with your improvement journey, and thank you for listening.